I want to tell you about a mountain and a day that fundamentally changed my life to encourage you that huge change is possible. Join me and my dog Nira on a hike to the summit of Ha Ling. Along the way, I want to tell you a personal story about why Ha Ling is my most repeated and personally significant hike. This mountain will always hold a special spot for me for reasons way beyond the incredible views. Let me tell you why as we walk up this mountain. About a decade ago, I moved to Alberta for a fresh start at life. Childhood and the following years hadn't been kind to me, and I was carrying a lot of trauma and personal demons. Ha Ling was the first hike that I did in Alberta, and it was by far the hardest hike that I'd ever done.
So we've been hiking for about 45 minutes now. Starting to get some views.
I wasn't used to gaining that much elevation, and I needed to take countless breaks to catch my breath, but I was determined to make it to the top. When I finally reached the ridge, I felt really proud, an uncommon emotion for me at the time. As I walked over to the edge to see the view, I wasn't expecting what happened next. As I looked down at the drop, vertigo hit me, and my legs fully buckled and dropped me onto my butt. I fought back tears not from pain, but from frustration and anger. I was tired of being the girl who always struggled, the girl who feared everything and felt like she was born into a game that she couldn't win. I refused to have this new fear of heights, but I did. I realized that I always had. If your life has always felt like shaky ground, you don't go near an edge. There's some falls that are hard to come back from. Life had taught me that when I was young. I made a quiet vow into the wind that day that someday I was going to come back and rock climb the vertical side of this mountain. Looking back, it was a ludicrous promise. I didn't know the first thing about rock climbing or even whether the mountain was climbable. Regardless, climbing Ha Ling became a surrogate for overcoming my fears and personal demons. I didn't know how to address my childhood yet, but this felt like a fear that I could tackle. For the next 7 years, I learned to climb. My friends at the gym nicknamed me Elvis because my legs would shake so bad with fear as soon as I was a few feet off the ground that it looked like I was dancing. But under the right encouragement and the right guidance, I got stronger both mentally and physically. I faced my fears on repeat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Until I was someone that had a shot of completing Ha Ling. And finally, the day came to try the climb. I barely slept that night, thinking the world wasn't going to let me have this. I was worried that I was reaching for a level that someone like me wasn't allowed to reach, and that the world was going to strike me down for trying. Despite previously doing harder and longer climbs, I believed that this was a day that I might not survive. I even made arrangements for who would get my dog if I didn't make it. I needed to know that she would have an incredible life even if I took this risk. To some, it may seem crazy to feel that much fear and to do it anyways, but I made a promise to myself all those years ago, and I intended on seeing it through. I made this video for my personal Instagram the morning of the climb. So it's about 4:45 in the morning, and I'm packing up and heading out to go climb Ha Ling. It's a climb that I have thought about for about 7 years, so I'm very nervous because, yeah, it's crazy that it's here, but technically it's not the hardest climb that I've done, but it is very significant for me, which I will talk about later. So here goes something. As me and MB walked through the dark to the start of the climb, I was struck by how beautiful the morning was. We were getting perfect weather. The only other thing that would stop our attempt was if there was another climbing party already on the wall. The rock was loose enough that we didn't want a chance being struck from above. However, when we got to the base of the climb, we found out that we were the first ones there. It slowly dawned on me that this was really happening. I was going to try to climb Ha Ling. I prepared for this for years, so we geared up and we started to climb. A couple more easy pitches and then we're done. Just some easy fun climbing now. As I walked over that edge, it hit me that I wasn't the same girl that I had been 7 years prior.
Here she comes. Topa Ha Ling. Up the steep side. Woo! Good work, Steph. Huge accomplishment. Huge accomplishment. And done in really good style. Super proud of you.
The world and what I believed was possible for me fundamentally shifted that day, and I'll forever be grateful. This hike is my first time being back on Ha Ling since I climbed it. Today I got to bring my best friend. As I hung my legs over the edge, I was struck with emotion yet again. I'm living proof that you aren't stuck where you were placed. You can be born into darkness and still find your way to the light. If there's a new level or new version of yourself that you want to reach, sometimes you just need to face your fears and start climbing. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear about how I apply my experience with my own fears to how I train reactive or aggressive dog clients, watch this.